Good morning. It's 9/11, 23 years since the Twin Towers and still kicking. Hey, I want to share something I learned about these luggage boxes, both on the 1800 but on my Aspen Cade. You know, there are more sturdy structural components available to save the rash that happens pretty commonly now, I'm learning, to these hinge points and anchor points. If I were to have this interstate component removed, you'd see just rows of cracks from this corner where I plastic welded and filled with ABS plastic to restore that fatigue area. And you know, I'll show you the Aspen Cade component in a second here, but what I really wanted to shout out and talk about is the Interstate from 85 and similar series have this L-shaped component that drops in the same as the Aspen Cade components, which I'm just going to flip to here quickly on the bench. Those were removed. That spans between the two hinge points for the top, and then of course these go in the lower corner and tie in. But what they don't do is actually go all the way up and address the flex that happens in this panel here. So on my son's 1800, this whole back panel here was shattered from this basically being flipped, you know, closed by, you know, an otherwise unscrupulous operator or passenger. I just want to point out that, you know, this component I found on eBay it's been a couple of years now, but it dropped exactly into place, and whatever is more heavy in the accessorization of the Interstate, I can't say enough how much additional rigidity this has added to this bottom box structure. And as I got to say, on the 1800, the only way I was able to do something as rigid as this is to find a guy in Russia who actually does CNC components, and I bought a couple of custom-made pieces that, you know, follow the contours and most importantly ties the anchor point to these hinge points and locks them. So anyway, you might consider, if you've got some fatigue and if you have an older 40-year-old machine like mine, you might pull these 4 bolts and take a long look at the mount points there and see if they're suffering from the stress. I forget which side it was, but one of these hinges also had some significant stress fractures, and you know, it's an expensive component. I think the 1800 component was like $800. You know, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, from Dubuque, upgrades to my now 117,000 mile Aspen Cade.